That's fun. Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I am Ministry Toolkit. Or that's what my job description says. I'm not Ministry Toolkit Administrator or Ministry Toolkit Upload Extraordinaire. No, I am the Ministry Toolkit. So, now you know who to blame. Think. We created, here at the Ministry Toolkit, we created a podcast for you guys because we want to let you know about all the free resources. And if you're new to the site, Ministry Toolkit is a free church resource website. And it's always growing because we're always adding new things, which I'm going to tell you about. So that's exciting. We don't have a name for the podcast yet. Let's not call it poor planning. Let's call it an exciting opportunity for you guys to be involved in the process. So please connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or through email and tell us what name you think we should name this podcast. The person who comes up with the podcast name that we go with, they will get a free graphic design PowerPoint background of their choice. So whether that's for your church's specific fall festival or maybe for a wedding that's coming up, whatever, if it's a PowerPoint background, we will design that for whoever picks the winning podcast name. So, and now on to business. Okay, what we have new on Ministry Toolkit in the past 2 weeks is the Toolkit video release. So you've got the video, the graphics, and a poster to go along with that, so you can advertise and help promote Toolkits in your core or church. If you don't know what Toolkits is, don't worry, we still have plenty of resources for you. Next is the Watch Night Service materials. We've got sermon, program outlines, and of course graphics for that as well. And finally, new on Ministry Toolkit in the past 2 weeks is the Advent materials / Christmas materials from our friends at Core Resources. We will be talking about them more next week, but they have a lot of resources on there for you guys. And happy birthday Jesus graphics that I drew, yay! And don't forget about the things Ministry Toolkit already has on the site, including the men's ministry resources. They include graphics, sermon, service project ideas, and a banquet resource, so that'll be cool for you guys to download. We also have Decision Sunday resources, discipleship resources, which are a bunch of PowerPoints created by Dr. Charles Lake, who is a discipleship extraordinaire, so you'll want to make sure you get those from Ministry Toolkit. And finally, for resources, it brings us to the outside resources that we would really like to highlight. They are added to Ministry Toolkit as links, so you can find them all on Ministry Toolkit. But we want to highlight for you today Francis Chan's video Bible study called Surrender. It's from Bluefish TV, and it's a really great resource. My church is using that right now and had a lot of great responses from the teens in our core. The Skit guys have a really awesome new skit called Baggage. It's about 10 minutes long. It'd be good for a sermon illustration or a call to worship or something else like preliminary kind of piece. And it's very poignant, and I think it'll be good for you guys to see. So that's the Skit guys illustration called Baggage. And finally, I want to tell you about a new book from Matt Redman called Mirror Ball. There's an excerpt from that book that you can read on pastors.com. It was actually featured in the Pastor's Toolbox, or Toolbox, and it's an e-newsletter. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the Pastor's Toolbox newsletter, you really want to do that. They offer a lot of great articles and resources for leadership and ministry. So that's it for outside resources. And now to my favorite part of the MTK podcast that is still unnamed. It's the Rockstar Moments. So I want to give a shout out each podcast to 3 different groups or people or websites who have really helped MTK. And the first shout outs, they go to Everson Macwin, who is from India. It's really awesome. He likes everything on the Facebook page, and he's really encouraging about sharing links on his own Facebook page with his friends in India, so that's really awesome. Douglas McClure, or Captain Douglas McClure to me, he's been really helpful on Twitter and getting the word out and retweeting and and making sure the conversation keeps going for Ministry Toolkit. And then finally, we have Jenna Silva, who I happen to think is pretty good at photography and graphic design, that sort of thing. And she always likes the graphics that Ministry Toolkit puts up, so that's been really encouraging. So thank you, Jenna, for your support, and all of you guys who I mentioned today. If you want to be mentioned, well, you need to start communicating with me and be mention worthy. That's all I have to say. All right. Next week, we will be highlighting the partners for Ministry Toolkit. And when I say next week, I mean in 2 weeks, because this is going to be a podcast that comes out twice a month. So don't forget to like us on Facebook, to follow us on Twitter, and connect with us through email. You know, if there's something that's not on Ministry Toolkit that really should be, that you really want to be on Ministry Toolkit, let us know, because we don't know what you need if you don't tell us. We very much so want to offer you the best possible resources for your ministry. So if it's not on Ministry Toolkit, you can either upload it yourself or you can ask us to create it. So let us know. That email address is tsamtk@uss.salvationarmy.org. That's all the time we have for today, but we'll see you in 2 weeks. And don't forget to give the podcast a name. So we look forward to those comments on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks, guys. Can we be done?